as you can see, this thing is finally off the lift. And we do have the motor back out of it, so we could do a few things to it. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but my flywheel bolts that I received were wrong, and the new ones came in, so I got those swapped over tonight, and I got my flywheel redone. I got my pilot bearing put in there that came in just the other day as well, and I went ahead and got my pressure plate and clutch disc put in, and it is finally all together. Motor and transmission should not have to come back apart again. Hopefully not anyways. If they do, it'll probably just be to maintenance anything, but other than that, it is together for good. So far this week, we have gotten that done. We've got this thing back on all four wheels, which is a huge deal for me. I will show the side of the truck here in just a minute. I do have it on rollers because I don't have my rack and pinion installed just yet. So my wheels are a little cross-eyed, if you will. And I got the flip kit done in the back. The rear end is now powder coated again. I had the company that did it in the previous video where I was telling you I was not happy with it. I had it redone and I am happy with it now. I had a few issues with my mounting brackets for my Wilwood brakes, so I'm waiting until tomorrow to call them and see if they accidentally got the wrong bracket and sent it to me. So other than that, the axles now have green bearings on them, so I don't have to worry about adjusting them and things like that. I personally prefer those. I think they're easy and they're good and they withstand all the stuff that I'm going to do to them. I have my new gears installed, which you would see in this video a little bit before this conversation, and that went real nice and easy. I used some Castrol gear oil. Never used them before, so I figured I'd try. And but like I said, truck sits perfect. I mentioned maybe using a 1-inch lowering block in the previous video, and I don't think I'm going to. I think this thing is exactly how I want it. I have jack stands underneath the rear end right now, so here in just a minute when I do a walk around of this truck, the truck is up in the air, but it is at ride height. I know that sounds funny, but with it being on jack stands and being on rollers, it is at ride height, other than the front end is a little high because there's no motor and transmission in it. So you can probably subtract about 1.5 inches or so for weight of the engine transmission. So tomorrow I will probably drop the engine transmission back in and get everything lined up and get a measurement for the drive shaft, because I completely forgot to do that today before I pulled the motor out. So it'll have to go back in tomorrow so I can get that and get one of those built. Other than that, it's been a pretty laid back week. I didn't do anything on it yesterday. Didn't feel like it, so I didn't. But coming up this week, you'll be seeing the rack and pinion be done. I will video that. Here the last few days, I haven't videoed a whole lot of stuff while I'm doing it just because it's been loud. And I don't care to watch videos where it's just, you know, time-lapsed with music in the background. I think it's kind of corny, personally. But if that's what you guys want, let me know and I'll do it. But as of right now, I don't care for it. But the truck is coming along nicely. I have had a few setbacks as far as parts, wrong parts or delayed. My Holley front accessory drive setup for the Hemi is still not here. Hopefully that comes in this week. I'm tired of waiting on it. I'm ready to see it, on the engine, and I'm ready to see that engine done. I'm ready to see it completely finished up, and only thing it needs is wiring. So that is my expectation for this week, is to at least get that in and get it done, get the rack and pinion done, and I've got to look at the shocks and how to mount the shocks in the rear end. I do believe that those have to be modified just a little bit, so we'll figure that out. But enough of me talking. I'll do a walk around of the truck and I'll show you a few things that I've taken pictures of that I can throw in here to show you. And keep following, like, subscribe, and we'll get this thing done. It is currently about 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got to get up at 5:30 to go to work, so I'm a little tired, a little bland, a little boring, but it's all good. All the fun and games will come, especially when it gets a lot closer to me cranking this truck up. Hoping to have this thing done by the end of next month, which it is January 29th right now, or technically January 30th. But I want to have this thing done before the end of February. So stay tuned. All right, so like I was telling you a while ago, this thing is at ride height. It is off the ground, but it is at ride height. Nice and bare again. That's gonna be exactly how I want it. And like I said, this right here, the bottom of that fender will be about right there. So that gap will close up. But this thing looks super, super good. And whenever it's actually down on the ground, I'm only like 5'8.5", 5'9". So, and I can see clearly over the roof. So it's below eyesight level. So I'm extremely happy with that. Me and my buddy got the Charger back on the lift, put the rear end back underneath it, getting the front suspension back underneath it. And we were also working on getting the motor and transmission for it bolted back together tonight. Torque converter bolts and all that stuff already done. And he was doing that while I was working on my Hemi a little bit, getting the clutch and flywheel and all that stuff set up. And that transmission, I'm thinking about repainting it. It is just the bare aluminum that they come. And I think it looks kind of corroded and gross. So I think I'm gonna repaint it. But I had to do some pretty sketchy stuff earlier. I had to, let me get this out of here. So this is the old automatic torque converter pilot bearing, if you will, that's in the back of the engine. And so I just put some gobs of weld on there just to get it to hold in place with this big nut. And I just had this big ass bolt, and I just screwed it in, and it pulled it right out of the back of the engine, which it actually worked out really nice. There's a decent little weld out there, but the rest of it's kind of gobbed in there, which I didn't really care how it looked. I wasn't here for looks, I was here for structure. I needed it to be strong enough to just pull it out, and that's all I cared about. So it worked. So I'm happy with that. But other than that, you know, this thing's ready. And I really think I'm going to do some long tube headers, because I don't think those are going to give me the sound I want this truck to have. But I don't know. We'll see. Really just depends on budget. There's a lot of things that needs to be bought for this truck before a whole nother set of headers are bought. But rear end looks good. Nice and powder coated, and it actually looks like it's supposed to now. All right, enough of me talking. I know you guys are looking forward to hearing this thing run. Still got a little ways before that happens, but we are on the right path. It is finally back on all four wheels, like I was saying a while ago. It looks damn good, and I am super, super happy with it. Still got a shop full of crap in here, but we've got a lot of really cool cars, so it's kind of hard to complain. But man, this thing is freaking sweet. It sits perfect, and I don't think it needs to go any lower in the back. I really don't. I think it's gonna be exactly how I want it. Right now it's a little bouncy because I don't have the shocks on it, but other than that, you know, when the top of the truck is right here to me and I'm not a very tall person, I think that's about exactly, it's about right where I wanted it. So, super happy with it. Hope you guys are. Doesn't really matter if you are or not. I am. That's all that matters, really. But, you know, that's part of it. So, keep coming back. don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see where this thing goes. See what happens.